The Giants coming off a 24-3 victory, Daniel Jones' first home start. Very fun game to watch. I personally figured it'd be a lot closer. I can admit when I'm wrong. I get it. I thought it'd be like a 3-point game in the end. Honestly, the Redskins probably should have scored more points. They did miss a couple of deep balls in this game. But still, the offense played pretty well for the most part. We saw some rookie mistakes from our quarterback. It happens. A couple of fumbles from our running backs. Defense is looking much better, all that kind of stuff. So let's get more in depth in it. As always, if you want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mike_NYY. If you want me to follow you back, let me know. And I think that's it. So let's get into the video. So offensively today, Daniel Jones went 22 of 31, a passing touchdown, 2 interceptions, almost 3, luckily it was not, and 33 rushing yards, including that amazing play on like 3rd and 13, where he somehow got out of the entire pocket with a bunch of Redskins defenders around him and ran for a first down. That was amazing. The stadium was erupting, a very cool moment. Wayne Gallman, 18 carries, 63 yards. I think that's 3.5 yards per carry. 6 receptions, 55 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He wasn't very efficient, but he made a couple nice plays in this one. There was a play on a receiving play, I think at the end of the half, where he made one guy miss and picked up like 10 extra yards. He had a nice run in there as well. I mean, look, aside from the fumble, he did everything he was supposed to in this game. He didn't go above and beyond. That's not who Wayne Gallman is, but I think he was pretty good in this game, so we should be pretty satisfied for what he gave us. Sterling Shepard and Daniel Jones seem to have a pretty good connection. Shepard, 7 receptions, 76 yards, and a touchdown. Good game for him. Evan Engram, who I'm sure people expected better from him because he was facing against Landon Collins, only 4 receptions but 54 yards, so that's not terrible. The offensive line had a good day for the most part. There were some penalties. I remember Zeitler had one, and I think Mike Remmers had 2. I don't think the left side had penalties, but I could be wrong on that, so let me know if I'm wrong. But I mean, for the most part, compared to what we saw in Tampa Bay, a much better performance. Obviously, the front 7 of Washington's not what the front 7 is in Tampa, but still a good performance and a nice bounce back from them. We finally saw Daniel Jones make some mistakes, so on those balls that he threw interceptions on, he was a bit late on those throws and stuff like that. I'll go over it more in the film review, and I'm sure that I'll be telling of everything, but it seemed like those balls were out a bit too late. They weren't placed perfectly, and these things happen. It is what it is, and honestly, when he was coming out of college, and I'm not trying to say this is a knock on Daniel Jones, but when I watched him at Duke, the thing I didn't like about it, I wasn't one of those people that just hated him because the media hated him. When I watched him play, there were a lot of things where I was like, whoa, that's not good. But you have to take into account his teammates weren't great either. But a lot of times when I watched him at Duke, I saw that he didn't really have the arm strength on certain type of throws. And the one that Josh Norman almost intercepted, I think, on Benny Fowler as the receiver, Jones underthrew that ball, and I don't know, I don't really think that's an arm strength issue. He might have just put it in the wrong spot, but we saw it happen before, and there were many throws at Duke where, Jones will make some really nice throws, and then he'll just throw a really bad ball, and you're like, wow, that's not supposed to happen. And we saw that happen a couple times this game, but I'm not concerned about it. I think, this kid has definitely shown way more positives than he has negatives. That's why I said making mistakes finally, because he hasn't really made mistakes yet, other than fumbling as a New York Giant so far. So this is the first time he's really had some bad passes, and I could live with it. You know what I mean? He put up 24 points on the offense. It is what it is, and the Giants still won this game, so I can't complain too much about it. He is a rookie. These things happen. Don't worry about it. The Giants 4 for 4 on first down scoring or first drive scoring, so they had 3 touchdowns on their first 3, or I'm getting all mixed up here. So in their first 4 games, they have scored on their first drive in all 4 of them. They have 1 field goal, which was week 3, I believe, and then the other games they scored a touchdown on their first drive. Of course, 2 of them were with Eli Manning, and then 1 of them was with Daniel Jones, and then the field goal game was the Buccaneers one last week. So Pat Shurmur and his scripted plays are doing very well. These first drives are looking great. And even during the game now, it's looking better with Daniel Jones. They're converting way more on third down. I'll get into that in a little bit. Wayne Gallman and John Hilliman had some fumbles in this game. They had 1 each. I wasn't a big Hilliman fan when I watched him play at Rutgers. I'll admit, I don't watch Rutgers football, but when the Giants signed him, and I even put together a highlight video of all the unsigned free agents we had, I watched Hilliman and I was like, he's probably just another guy. I wasn't really too impressed with him, to be honest with you. I figured he'd be able to hold on to the ball, but that didn't happen today, so that's not good. I honestly would not be shocked if they brought someone else in next week, but we'll see what they do and what management does. Wayne Gallman, I mean, he does have a fumbling issue. We should know that. He's fumbled on this team before. He just hasn't really had a starting role yet, but he has fumbled before, so it's not really too shocking. I think back to the Saints game last year, he fumbled in that one, so it happens. It is what it is. The Giants on third down today, 8 for 13. That's very, very good. If you do that, you'll win a lot of football games, and Daniel Jones is a big part of that. They had 164 rushing yards, which is right around what the Redskins were giving up on the season, so that makes sense. And without Saquon Barkley, that's very good. They led time of possession 36 minutes to 22 minutes and had total offense of 389 yards. So, look, it was a good offensive game today. I really can't say much. The Redskins' defense isn't the greatest. Daniel Jones made some mistakes today, but for the most part, they did a lot of good things as well. Wayne Gallman came in, did what he had to do, converted on 2 touchdowns. Daniel Jones had 1 touchdown as well, made some plays with his feet once again, had some really nice throws, hitting guys in stride. So yeah, the Giants offense played well in this one. They'd have to play better in the next 2 weeks against the Vikings and New England if they want to put up more points. But in the game against the Washington defense, they can get away with some stuff. So I wasn't overly impressed, but I still thought it was a good outing for the offense. So now, let's get into the defense. So coming into this game, we were wondering whether we would see the second half version of the Bucs game defense or the first half version of the Bucs game defense. Honestly, we got better than the second half version of the Bucs defense. The defense was very good today. Not to say that the Redskins offense had nothing to do with it, because they certainly did. Their quarterbacks played terrible in this one, and they definitely bailed us out on multiple occasions. But still, they played really well today. And if you saw how the Buccaneers played against the Rams in LA today, it makes the Giants defense look a lot better. I mean, they put up like 40 points, I think. I don't count the 50 because they had a couple of defensive touchdowns, but still, they put up like 40-something points, high 30s. They put up a lot of points on that Rams defense, and they are defending NFC champions, so it's pretty impressive. But anyway, Janoris Jenkins coming off his worst game as a Giant, 2 interceptions, nice bounce back for him. He obviously was not playing against Terry McLaurin, who luckily missed the game today for us. He was guarding probably Paul Richardson most of the game, but still, I mean, look, 2 interceptions. He played well. It doesn't matter. You got to play who's on your schedule. He had 2 interceptions in this one, so it's a great look for him. Ryan Connelly, and I'm already sad talking about Ryan Connelly because apparently he might have a pretty bad knee injury. We'll see what the MRIs bring us tomorrow, but he had an interception as well, the first one of this game, and Jabril Peppers had a pick 6. That was awesome to see, right in front of Landon Collins, a former Giant. He's wearing his same number. Apparently those two got in a bit of a fight after the game, but there's really no video about it, so it's funny because right when the Giants game tuned off, you could see guys going at it in the huddle. But obviously by that point they just went to the desk of the guys, the NFL analysts talking, so I couldn't see the fight. But you can see the beginning of it on TV, but unfortunately we didn't see the whole thing. But apparently Peppers and Collins got into it. It makes sense. Grant Haley got lucky twice. I talked about in the preview video how we have to watch out for Trey Quinn because, I didn't like how Grant Haley looked last week, and on separate occasions, Trey Quinn beat Grant Haley down the field, and luckily for us, Case Keenum overthrew him both times. One was really bad and one was just a little bit too far, but one was 5 or 10 yards out in front of him. Really bad throw by Case Keenum, who eventually got benched. They were, the pass rush looked good again. They had 3 sacks in this one. Dalvin Tomlinson got there. Marcus Golden got there. I'm trying to think who else got there. I think Dexter Lawrence might have got there once as well. So, a lot of guys are contributing on this defensive line and the outside linebackers as well. So the pass rush is looking better and better game by game. The Redskins' offensive line is borderline decimated at this point. They were missing 3 starters if you include Trent Williams. And if we had that full Eric Flowers talking about, I'm so relieved to be away from the Giants organization. Well, yeah, all right, we don't want you. Go ahead. I don't really care what Eric Flowers has to say. He's just, it drives me crazy. But anyway, the Redskins were 2 for 11 on third down. That's a recipe for winning in this league. Gives you the ball more. That's why the Giants won by time of possession so much in this game, probably, for stuff like that. Redskins only had 55 rushing yards in this game, and I talked about that before as well. Adrian Peterson was having a rough year, yards per carry wise. Darius Geis is out for a while. Chris Thompson's not really a between the tackles runner, so they really didn't have many rushing yards. They only had 121 passing yards as well between Case Keenum and Dwayne Haskins. David Mayo, who filled in to play inside linebacker, we picked him up he used to play in Carolina. He played really well in this game, I think. He was all over the place, stopping the run. Didn't really allow any big passes that I know of, so he was all over the field when I was watching this game. And of course, the bad news, Ryan Connelly had a knee injury, and some were speculating possible ACL injury, which would suck. We already have 2 inside linebackers out, whether it's Alec Ogletree or Tay Davis. Ogletree has a hamstring, and Tay Davis has a concussion, so, I mean, they shouldn't be out too long, but still. To have this injury happen to Ryan Connelly, who was looking like, the most solid linebacker we've had on this team in years, it just sucks to happen already. I mean, it's only 4 weeks in. The guy was looking very, very good. Back-to-back weeks of interceptions, making big play after big play, and he unfortunately goes down. So I hope it's just a couple week injury and he'll be back for us, but the reports haven't sounded great, so let's all pray for Ryan Connelly tonight. And Lorenzo Carter had a neck injury. I'm not sure how bad it was. I don't think they showed on the broadcast when it happened exactly, so I'm not sure what it is. I mean, who knows? Of course, when neck injuries happen, as Giant fans, we think back to David Wilson. I hope it's not that bad, but hopefully he's back soon as well. Lorenzo Carter is one of those guys who's starting to play better as the season's going on, so to see him get hurt right now, definitely unfortunate. I hope those guys heal up nicely and we get most of our linebackers back next week. Dwayne Haskins looked not so good. Yeah. So Haskins entered the game, I believe, in the second quarter, which was surprising. We figured it'd be after halftime, but I think he came in with a few minutes left in the second quarter, and he gave the Redskins offense some life. I mean, they started picking up yards on the ground with Peterson. They got to the goal line, and he missed, I think, Vernon Davis. It was on an out route. He threw the ball a little bit high and outside. And I forget if they didn't turn it over on downs. They got a field goal out of it. It was 14-3 going into half. And then Haskins looked terrible in the second half. And, from what I saw from Haskins today was kind of my concerns with him in college. I just thought at Ohio State, he was in the most perfect situation. I think he had too many playmakers around him. He had some great receivers around him. You think of Terry McLaurin right now. He had him. He had Paris Campbell as well, who's with Indianapolis. I think there's another guy in the NFL. He had a few offensive linemen who are currently in the NFL. So, I mean, look, the guy had everything perfect around him. I mean, Haskins' arm never really impressed me too much, and we saw he had a bit of a noodle arm today. I'm not going to lie. Some of his throws today were very concerning, so, I mean, I'm not a Redskins fan, so that's not my concern. But that's why I never really, I don't think I've ever said I wanted Haskins at 6. I highly doubt. I definitely did say I wanted him over Daniel Jones, which is stupid to say now looking back on it, but as I said, I'll admit I'm wrong. I get it. But I don't think I ever said I wanted Haskins at 6. I just never thought he'd be that good. I thought he was one of those guys who was just in a perfect situation and everything worked out well for him. And I'm not just saying now Haskins is a bust or anything like that because of one game, but that was a rough performance. But they say, he probably wasn't ready. He didn't have a full grasp of the playbook. This is his first live NFL action, real NFL action. They say preseason and regular season is definitely different, so I understand it. It's a tough place to be put in your first game. He probably wasn't expecting it. So look, I mean, he'll get better as the season goes on, but I mean, hopefully for Redskins fans' sakes and for Dwayne Haskins' sake, he'll be all right as the year goes on. But of course, as a Giants fan, I hope he doesn't get much better, but we'll see. So that'll do it. The defense looked better. They're getting better game by game. The next 2 games for the Giants are tough. I mean, in all likelihood, the Giants are looking at 2-4, but the Vikings played like crap today. If you watched them play against the Bears, I understand we are nowhere near the Bears defense, but still, the Vikings offense looked terrible today. Kirk Cousins I think they had literally 80 yards of total offense in the fourth quarter. I think they had some garbage time as well. So, I mean, the final stats didn't look as bad, but they had a terrible offensive game today. So, look, it'll be tough, and I'll get into the preview on Thursday probably. I'm not sure when the film breakdown is going to come out because I think I have a pretty busy day with school on Wednesday, so I might do it Wednesday night instead of Tuesday night. I don't know. We'll see. I'll keep you guys updated in the community page or whatever, so just, bear with me on that stuff. So anyway, thank you for watching if you made it to the end, and I will talk to you guys next time.